In 1983, the Toyota Camry was released as a small compact car. Throughout its lifetime, it was known as one of the most long-lasting cars on the road. Even today, it is still one of the most long-lasting cars and reliable cars ever built. Today, we have the 8th generation Toyota Camry, which was launched in 2018.
This is the top dog, the highest trim package, every option possible, the XSE V6. Let's take a peek at what it has to offer. The Camry has always been known for a reliable four-door transportation. It has always been known for something that holds its value, that has very minimal impact on your pocketbook throughout its ownership life. Now, the 8th generation, that has not changed at all. But what has changed is the appeal, the sexiness of it, what the car has for design. Toyota opened the eyes to the entire automotive community looking for a car in this segment. Instead of it just being a boring sedan, it is now an eye-popping, head-turning everyday driver. Let's look at just a quick runaround of the car. The front grille is menacing. It has a lot of air inlet. This is all functional air inlet for the motor. All the bottom half of the lower grille is functional. Guys, these are fake. These are just aesthetic. If we come to the back, this is probably my least favorite, just because I think this does look kind of cheap. I don't know if this is supposed to be a teardrop tattoo from all the Accords the Camry has slain, or what exactly it's supposed to be. But this little fake vent, it does look good in certain angles, but it's kind of cheesy in my opinion. I still love the design of this. Is all over the car industry right now with the release of the TRD coming out. Now, let's just talk where that TRD falls in the lineup. That is your cheapest way to get a V6. That TRD is primarily based off of the SE trim package. Now, there's 5 different trim packages. Above the SE, we have the XLE and the XSE. And then obviously the V6s are the highest trim package. Getting that TRD with the V6, you're gonna get the performance of that V6, but you might not have all the refinements and technology that's coming with the XSE we're viewing today.
So, since Todd just said that the Toyota Camry XSE is just loaded with options, let's look at some of those. First of all, we have a heads-up display in here, as well as, this is a really good one, especially in this price range. We have a 360 camera built into that reverse. With all those cameras and everything, you guys get a lot of cool stuff. Right up here, built into the Toyota logo, is the adaptive cruise control sensor to sense how far cars are in front of you. Right under that is one of those cameras for the 360-degree camera. Across the side here, right under the mirror, we have another camera for the 360 camera. And if we turn around and look at the front of the mirror, we get this little indication for your blind spot monitoring. And if we're gonna head straight to the back, we have your backup camera as well as your 360 camera for the rear part of the vehicle. And it is the same on the right side.
The Camry is clearly appealing on the outside. It is a head-turning car, and it's a Camry. That's great, but it doesn't stop on the exterior. The interior as well is a great place to spend time. It's a great place for a daily driving car. The seats at first are a little bit cushy in my opinion. However, they are comfortable. The controls for the seats are very easy to use. You can get yourself in all the positions you need to go. Your lumbar's the back circle here, your reclining's the second, as well as your front and back. Now guys, I'm 6 feet tall, 220. This is a comfortable sitting position for me in the front. Let's see what that back seat's all about. Getting in is effortless. Obviously a small head duct to clear the roof line, but once you get in, with the driver being 6 feet tall, I obviously clearly have more than enough leg room to be comfortable back here. Guys, I will say the seat in the back, however, it almost feels like it's pitched like that a little too much, and it's lacking support for my legs here. You can see I have a gap under my legs. It's not super comfortable back here as far as the actual seat, in my opinion. But you definitely have enough room. You have the armrest in the middle here. You can spend some time back here with 4 6-foot-tall adults in the Camry. Now, the seats found on the XSE are definitely pleasing to the eye as well as the comfort level they provide. The entire interior is quite great, guys. Check out the ambient lighting that they just have subtle hints of it in just enough spots to let you know that you're getting into something special. It checks the right boxes for giving a sporty yet luxurious feel that is well appointed. Everything is right where it needs to be. The angle of the infotainment center that is driver focused, angled towards the driver, is great. Everything is easy to read. The controls on the steering wheel are easy to understand. Very well designed car.
The interior sitting position for all 4 6-foot adults is absolutely great. Let's see what we got back here for storage for a daily driving car. We have quite a bit of room back here, plenty for the daily commute, and I'd say there's enough for bringing a few people to the airport as well. Now, we can also pull this and this, and we can fold down those rear seats to add some additional storage. You can see about how much room those seats being down will add. But take this into account. The TRD model, it has been said that due to an additional bracing, these rear seats will not be able to fold down, only that center armrest. The overall interior of the Toyota Camry actually kind of reminds me a lot of the Alfa Romeo Giulia. I know that doesn't make any sense at all, but it is the fact that this uses very cheap materials, but it does a very good job of using them. This dashboard looks very nice and it's laid out extremely well for not using the most high quality materials that are possible. It has some nice stitching along here, along this leather looking plastic, as well as utilizes these vents and everything across these body lines. The door panel over here has some of that stitching as well as this nice chrome strip that integrates the door handle. I do think that looks quite nice and it blends in quite well. Now let's move into the actual buttons and usage of all of the stuff. Down here we have a few buttons and modes for driving: Eco, Normal, and Sport for your modes adjusting while you're driving. You have your heated seats adjustments for both passenger and driver right here. As you can see that, we have 3 heat levels. And in here we have a wireless charger for a phone, which is very nice and I feel is a must on today's cars, especially because almost every single new phone that comes out now does have wireless charging as an option. Up here, I'm a little bit disappointed that there's no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and a lot of people have actually said that and agreed with me as well. I don't think the layout of this is all that great, but it definitely is functional. I have had to search through so many settings to find some things though, and I do think they could shrink up these settings by a very substantial amount. The amount of settings that are in here really are just ridiculous. You click one thing and you'll get 5 more things for some of these, and it's just too much. There's too much of this stuff in here if you just want to quick change something. In here, I actually really like this a lot though. The display in between the gauges is very, very, very well done. You get those, when in the startup, you get all those lights down that row. This integrates that through every motion you pick. As you can see, these lights are back here. Then when you pick this, in between the two fuel economy and drive support, it sort of moves those lights. I think it looks pretty sweet. And it just does that through each and every one. And it has a lot of useful information in that centered thing. On the steering wheel, we have a few buttons for the lane keep assist, the display up here, as well as the adaptive cruise control and just the other modes and such like that, moving, radio, all that good stuff. The paddle shifters on this thing, they're better than a Dodge Challenger, if you want me to be honest. I don't really know why, but there's some decent paddle shifters. I actually like them quite a bit. Up here, we have a very, very nice panoramic sunroof that goes across the entire roof of this car. Yes, I love panoramic sunroofs. They are killer. And I love that Toyota has this on their Camry.
Hey guys, how's it going? If you are looking at the Camry for your daily driver, then you're probably also looking at vehicles like the Hyundai Sonata, the Ford Fusion, Chevy Malibu possibly, and then obviously its ultimate rival, the Honda Accord. Guys, for a very long period of time, the Camry was selling over 400,000 units in the US alone. Since about 2016 till current day, we're looking at mid to high 300,000 sales numbers for the Camry. So they're still doing a lot of things right. Now, when we think about Ford taking away their cars in the very near future and only selling SUVs, you have to think that the Camry needs to continue to up its game to keep people away from turning over to an SUV as a daily driver. The previous car that the owner of this XSE V6 had was a Hyundai Sonata. It was a decked out one, very nice car. Now, what he likes more about the Camry is the driving feel. On a daily basis, he does think this feels better, but he's a much bigger fan of that transmission that comes in the Sonata. He is not a fan of the Camry's 8-speed. If you're ultimately looking to save the most money and just have a reliable daily car, the Camry might not be the best choice. Now, I say that because in doing my research on the Camry, I noticed that the Fusion and the Malibu will actually hold a cheaper 5-year ownership than the Camry. The best bang for your buck is going to be buying a Fusion or a Malibu after that first year, after you take that first year hit in depreciation. However, if you want a car to feel new and not have all the rattles and the cranks that the Chevys and Fords are known for, you still want the Camry, because after 5, 6, 7 years, it's going to be held together and feel the same way it does now, unlike its counterparts.
This 3.5 liter V6, and on now the new TRD, it actually has this motor as well. This motor produces a hefty 301 horsepower and 276 pound-feet of torque.
So like Austin said, this is the motor that's coming on the TRD. Now there's no changes in that motor. That TRD, the differences are coming in styling. You get the spoiler, you get the lower valances. Guys, you get stiffer springs. You're a little over a ½ inch lower than the ride height here of the XSE V6. You're going to be about a ½ inch lower on that body line. You're also going to have more rigidity in your suspension. So that TRD option, you're paying for driving performance. As far as steering and handling, you're not paying for engine performance. So this is a very wonderful car to drive, guys. It's not a super performance car, but it has enough power with that V6 to make it enjoyable to drive. I do notice quite a bit of difference with the 3 driving modes. There's normal, there's eco, and there's sport. That sport, just like most cars, that steering wheel gets a lot stiffer. Your throttle response picks up. Your shift points are supposed to be more on cue. However, as mentioned, the Camry's lacking in that area a little bit. But this is a great, comfortable car. It does a great job of hitting the boxes just enough where it feels sporty, where it feels luxurious, it feels well put together, and the design is definitely on point.
The Toyota Camry can stop from 60 to 0 in 122 feet, which is very impressive for a daily driver car, and it is also very safe if you need to use those brakes. .8 seconds 0 to 60 out of the Toyota Camry XSE with the V6. That's pretty dang quick, considering the fact that we used to have a 2012 Dodge Challenger RT with some upgrades done to it. We did about a 5.3 second 0 to 60, so that shows you just how quick this Camry really is. This is the summary of the Toyota Camry XSE with the V6. What do we think of it? Should you guys buy it? What do you think?
Great car, guys. If this is your price range, if this is what you're in the market for, the Camry does a great job of checking all the right boxes when it comes to comfort, luxury, sportiness,
safety. Safety is the biggest option. This thing has
reliability.
Reliability. This has a lot of safety options. Every one that there really is out right now, except for pretty much self-driving, this thing has all of the safety options.
What about compared to the competition, though? Is this the way you go, or do you? I mean, that new Sonata that's coming out's looking pretty sweet. The Fusion, you can get that with that EcoBoost. It's a pretty gnarly car. So where do you go? You go to the Optima, the Sonata, you go to the Fusion, you stick with the Camry. The Camry's like Old Faithful. It's got a great design going, but you might have more fun in some of the competition. I don't know. What do you think?
I think the interior sucks on pretty much every Ford ever made. So this kills it.
Interior-wise, absolutely. I am a huge fan of the interior. Even at night, doing this review at night, seeing the ambient lighting that's being produced, seeing the layout of the dash in full effect, it's really pleasing to spend time in the Camry at night. Everything is done well.
That's true, that is true. And compared to the other competition, other than just the interior sucking on the Ford, I do still think this thing is the most advanced in those safety capabilities. I know that some of the more up there Fords can have those on there, but personally I've driven a few of them that have those options, and every time that I have them equipped, it does not feel that they are doing the job that they're intended to be doing, even at the maximum, the sensitivity. So this one we noticed right off the bat as soon as we turned those options on.
For sure. Guys, thanks for watching today. If you have any other questions on the Camry, feel free to comment. Remember to like, subscribe, check out some of our other videos. We do appreciate comments, talking cars with you guys. So let us know if you're in the market. Let us know why you're choosing, what you're going with. Let's have a conversation. We look forward to seeing you next time.
One last thing really quick, if you guys do have a cool car that we can review, please email us at performanceonwheels111@gmail.com. Check out our Instagram, performance_on_wheels, and we hope to see you guys next time. Please like, please subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye, guys.